The list of privileges the royals have is endless because, well, they are the royals. I'm your host Makailah, and today I'm talking about the top 10 privileges the royal family doesn't want you to know about. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy this video cause it really helps us out, but now let's get started with the video. Number 10. The Queen can ban humor. It was said that once Queen Elizabeth II passed away, the people of Britain were banned from being funny on public television. Seriously. BBC wasn't allowed to air anything humorous for the 12 days between her passing and her funeral. It was said previously that, in the event of the Queen's passing, BBC would immediately stop what they were doing, make the announcement of her passing, and start airing the documentaries about the Queen's life that have been pre-recorded. The station even had black suits and ties ready to be thrown on at a moment's notice. But you will never ever hear the royal family say these words. Number 9. The royal family does not have to obey legal speed limits, but only when they're driven by police on official royal duties. When the king, prime minister, and other members of the royal family are driven by police officers on official royal business, they can drive as fast or as slow as they please. According to The Sun, the Road Traffic Regulation Act gives permission for police, fire, ambulance, and other enforcement agency vehicles to break speed limits. Since the royals are always driven by police escorts while completing royal duties, their vehicles are thus exempt from following speed regulations. Number 8. Members of the royal family are exempt from paying taxes in certain instances. Though the monarch was not legally required to pay taxes, the Queen made voluntary payments on income, assets, and gains not used for official purposes, insider previously reported. Other parts of the royal family's income, like the Prince of Wales' income from the Duchy of Cornwall, are also exempt from taxes. However, he also, quote, voluntarily pays income tax on all revenue from the estate, according to the official website. Number 7. The British monarch can't be arrested or be the subject of civil and criminal proceedings, meaning he is effectively exempt from the law. King Charles enjoys sovereign immunity, meaning he can't be prosecuted under a civil or criminal investigation. This rule also applied to the late Queen Elizabeth II. According to previous guidance on the royal family's official website, quote, although civil and criminal proceedings cannot be taken against the sovereign as a person under UK law. The Queen was careful to ensure that activities in her personal capacity were carried out in strict accordance with the law, however. Number 6. The monarch typically had 2 birthdays. According to the royal family's official website, the Queen celebrated 2 birthdays each year. Her actual birthday on April 21st and her official public birthday celebration on the second Saturday in June. Across generations, sovereign rulers have often held their public birthday celebrations on days other than their actual birthday, especially when their real birth dates fall in the autumn or winter. This is in order to increase the likelihood of good weather for the annual Trooping the Colour parade, according to the royal family website. Since King Charles's birthday is in November, he could follow his mother's lead and have a second celebration in June too, although it is yet to be confirmed. Number 5. The Queen didn't have to use a passport to travel, and this is likely also to be true for King Charles. Every passport in the United Kingdom is issued with the Queen's name. As a consequence, the Queen didn't need her own passport to travel, according to the royal family website. Following the Queen's passing, passports are likely to be altered to reflect King Charles as the new sovereign. However, much like the process of altering British money and stamps, this will be a gradual change and could take a number of years. British coins and banknotes, which have the Queen's portrait on them, will be replaced with a portrait of the new monarch, King Charles. The process of replacing the portrait will, however, take a while, as I mentioned, because of the large number of banknotes currently in circulation, according to the coin expert. While the Queen succeeded her father King George in 1952, she didn't appear on the Bank of England note until 1960, according to the Bank of England. All other members of the royal family, however, do hold their own passports, the royal family website adds. Number 4. The royals are also able to skip out on jury duty. One royal perk is that members of the king's family do not have to take part in jury duty. If you get a jury summons in the post, you must respond within 7 days and confirm if you can attend. Usually it works by your name being chosen randomly from the electoral register. You'll be part of a jury of 12 people to decide the outcome of a criminal trial. Jury service usually lasts up to 10 working days. If the trial is likely to last longer than 10 days, jury staff will let you know. If the trial is shorter than 10 days, you may be asked to be a juror on other trials. You'll usually need to be at court from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, but times can vary. So kind of like a 9-to-5 job, except you're not getting paid. In normal instances in the United Kingdom, evading jury duty results in a fine up to or around $1,000. However, for the king and members of his immediate family, jury duty is not required, The Guardian has reported. Number 3. Her Majesty was never required to have a driver's license. At the age of 18, Queen Elizabeth II trained as a driver and mechanic for the Women's Auxiliary Territorial Service during World War II. She insisted upon joining the army, when she trained as a truck driver as well. She also remains the only female member of the royal family to have served in the army. The Queen was never required to take an actual driving test, however, and was also able to drive without a number plate because all driver's licenses in the UK are issued in the Queen's name, according to the Daily Express. Following his accession to the throne, King Charles III no longer requires a driver's license now, and now he is the only person in the UK who can drive without one. It was also added that the entitlement does not extend to Camilla, as the Queen Consort still needs a license to drive. The lack of needing a driver's license is said to be a privilege greatly enjoyed by monarchs. Number 2. While regular grandparents have to go through the courts if they want custody of their grandchildren, the king has automatic legal custody of all his descendants and his minor grandchildren. The monarch has legal custody of their grandchildren, a royal historian told news.com.au in 2018. This means Charles technically has custody of Prince William and Kate Middleton's 3 children, and Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's children Archie and Lilibet. This 300-year-old rule was passed by a majority of 10 out of 12 judges in 1717, who decided the monarch's right of supervision extended to his grandchildren, and this right belongs to His Majesty, King of the Realm, even during their father's lifetime. This goes back to King George I, who ruled in the early 1700s, and the law has never been changed. He did it because he had very poor relationship with his son, the future King George II, so they had this law passed that meant the king was the guardian of his grandchildren. Though it's unlikely the king would ever take his grandchildren away from their parents, the law is still technically there. When Prince Harry and William were little, Prince Charles asked the Queen if both children could fly on a plane together to Scotland, to which the Queen said yes. Technically, they needed permission to travel. The Queen has the last word on parenting decisions like that. Or now the king, I guess. However, as Harry and Meghan have stepped down from the royal family, the rules about that law are a little iffy now. However, hopefully it won't ever come to the situation where the king wants to take full custody of Harry and Meghan's kids. Now coming in at number 1, the royals don't have to use their legal last names. The royals are not required to use their legal last names, even though they technically do have one. Before 1917, members of the British royal family had no surname. Kings and princes were historically known by the names of the countries over which they and their families ruled. Kings and queens therefore signed themselves by their first name only, a tradition in the United Kingdom. The names of dynasties tended to change when the line of succession was taken by a rival faction within the family. In 1917, there was a radical change when George V specifically adopted Windsor. Not only as the name of the house or dynasty, but also as the surname of his family. The family name was changed as a result of anti-German feeling during the First World War, and the name Windsor was adopted after the castle of the same name. But now the male line descendants of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip bear the last name Mountbatten-Windsor. People often love to jump to the conclusion that Meghan is using everyone she can, but is it true? I'm your host Makailah, and today I'm going to talk about the top 10 times that Meghan Markle used Prince Harry for his status. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps us out. But now let's get started. Number 10, used him to get to the top. Morning show host Piers Morgan has been one of Meghan's fiercest critics, claiming she dumped him as a friend when she started dating Harry. Though I think he might be confusing the word acquaintance with friend. Anywho, when the couple stepped down in January, Piers said that Meghan used Harry to get to the top, and tweeted, "People say I'm too critical of Meghan Markle, but she ditched her family, ditched her dad, ditched most of her old friends, split Harry from William and has now split him from the royal family. I rest my case." He also called the couple a pair of repulsive, deluded, narcissistic tools. Imagine announcing this in the middle of a global pandemic. Imagine thinking anyone cares about their hurt little me egos as health workers around the world are dying at work. "What a pair of repulsive, deluded, narcissistic tools," he tweeted. Morgan had also banned conversation about Meghan and Harry on Good Morning Britain after they announced there would be no further corroboration and zero engagement between them and the 4 UK tabloids The Sun, the Daily Mail, the Mirror, and the Express. "Let's not talk about Meghan and Harry today. I can't be arsed. Let's just forget about them," Morgan said on the show. Number 9, faking being in love. Australian feminist Germaine Greer doesn't know Meghan, but that didn't stop her from telling 60 Minutes that she thinks Meghan isn't actually in love with Harry, but is just using him to catapult herself into wider fame. "All I can think is she'd better be in love," Greer said. "If she's been faking it all this time, oh boy, what misery." She also claimed that the Megxit was part of Meghan's plan to manipulate the royal prince, and use his name as a ladder to become more well-known in the entertainment industry. According to Greer, the luxurious $32 million royal wedding on May 19th, 2018 started the show, and the supposed romantic wedlock turned into show business in disguise. The feminist added the fact that although Meghan became a duchess, she still did not give up the opportunities outside of
of the royal palace, only proving that Meghan's life only revolved around show business. The whole point about showbiz, it's not real, it won't sustain you, she suggested. Number 8. Gold digger. When Meghan and Harry announced their foundation's name and details, according to the Daily Mail, they hadn't yet finalized registering for their website and someone else snapped it up. And that person did something terrible to it. Speaking to the Telegraph, the Sussexes shared a few details about the foundation. Before Sussex Royal came the idea of arch, the Greek word meaning a source of action. They told the newspaper, "We connected to this concept for the charitable organization we hope to build one day, and it became the inspiration for our son's name." Some hacker took the opportunity to register archwellfoundation.com and redirect it to a YouTube video of Kanye West's gold digger video. An obvious insult to Meghan. Of course, now it's fixed, but it's kind of sad that someone would take something that's focusing on positive change and turn it into an embarrassing joke. Number 7. A ruthless social climber. Piers' first scathing attack on Meghan came in December 2018, months after praising her and her humanitarian work. He basically said that Meghan married for the fame. Meghan Markle is a ruthless social climber actress who has landed the role of her life and is determined to milk it for all she can. And that's why the palace is beginning to turn on her. Since then, Piers has only escalated his attacks, but I think maybe he's just butthurt that she didn't pick him. Meghan and Piers messaged for a while, and when Meghan visited the UK to watch Serena Williams at Wimbledon, they met for a drink. Piers later revealed, "We had 2 hours in the pub, she had a couple of dirty martinis and pints. We got on brilliantly. Then I put her in her cab and it turns out it was the cab that took her to a party where she met Prince Harry. The next night, they had a solo dinner and that was the last I ever heard from Meghan Markle. I never heard from her again. Meghan Markle ghosted me." Piers said he was ditched like a sack of spuds. Yup, sounds like someone who's a little butthurt. Number 6. Will blindside Harry with a divorce. As far as her critics are concerned, now that Meghan and Harry are out as senior working royals, the next natural step is for Meghan to divorce Harry, since supposedly he would have outlasted his usefulness. He might be a prince, but he's inexperienced at the ways of the real world. His head must be spinning at how fast he went from a castle to Canada to the middle of LA. And the worry is she might blindside him with a divorce, and he would lose everything, including his money and possibly even Archie. A palace source supposedly told Women's Day Australia. Wednesday Australia, April 13th, 2020 issue also suggested that Prince Harry may not experience a happy ending after all Meghan's alleged real scheming begins. Number 5. Out of money. Plenty of networks around the world aired Meghan and Harry's engagement interview. When Britain's Sky News streamed it live, the comments from viewers started rolling in, and not all of them wished the couple well. In fact, among the congratulations and the racist trolling and the accusations that Meghan was acting during the interview were plenty of jabs accusing Meghan of being in it for the money. She's seeing British pound signs, one commenter wrote. She won the lottery, wrote another. When she collects that money, she won't give a crap anymore. Number 4. Played Harry. Meghan is apparently such an evil mastermind that she's been planning to be a part of the royal family since childhood. So said Meghan's former friend, Nanaki Pretty, who sold the Daily Mail a trove of pictures of Meghan, including one where 15-year-old Meghan and her friend posed in front of Buckingham Palace. "I'm not shocked at all," she told the tabloid about the wedding. "It's like she's been playing this all her life. She gets exactly what she wants and Harry has fallen for her play. She was always fascinated by the royal family. She wants to be Princess Diana 2.0. She will play her role ably, but my advice to him is to tread cautiously." They met at age 2 at a prestigious kindergarten in Hollywood and became inseparable. "We were sisters, everyone knew that. We would be hand in hand everywhere." Meghan's father Thomas was a lighting director on popular US TV shows such as Married with Children and General Hospital. From an early age, Meghan visited those sets and decided fame suited her, Miss Pretty said, laying the foundations for Princess Pushy as she later became known. Number 3. Out to commercialize the royals. Meghan's critics love to emphasize over and over that she was a nobody before marrying Harry, a not-so-subtle way of interjecting classist and racist overtones as to why she doesn't belong in the royal family. Never mind that Meghan was a self-made millionaire who did charitable work before Harry, something that another royal bride, Kate Middleton, cannot claim. So author Tom Bower went on British TV and said that Meghan had no status outside of the royal family, and marrying Harry had enabled her to commercialize her royal ties. Number 2. Wants to be president. According to a book by Lady Colin Campbell, who has made an entire career out of writing about the royals, Meghan used her marriage to Harry to position herself to be president of the US someday. "I know the Duchess of Sussex has political ambitions, and I've been told that one day she wants to run for president," she told the Mail Online. "I think everything she is doing, leaving the royal family and moving back to California, is part of her plan, and she has taken Harry along with her." Now coming in at number 1, isolated Harry from his family. A magazine or tabloid can just whip something out whenever they need a story, and boom, a rumor is born. Here's one from Women's Day, in which a palace source supposedly said that Meghan orchestrated the move to LA to live that Hollywood celeb life, explaining not just Harry but also Archie. "You can't tell me that this wasn't her plan all along, to bring her boys to America so she could live the celebrity life she'd always dreamed of." It all makes sense now why she was so uninterested in getting a British visa, and was dead against giving Archie a royal title. But the scary thing is now she has Harry right where she wants him, isolated from his family in a country where she holds all the cards in terms of legal rights. These women have copied each other so many times, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody told me they just share the same closet. I'm your host Makailah, and today I'll be telling you the top 10 purchases Meghan Markle made to copy Kate Middleton. And make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell because it really helps us out, but now let's get started. Number 10, a black and white jumpsuit. Meghan Markle looked to Kate Middleton for inspiration back in June 2022, as she donned a $4,800 monochrome jumpsuit, which was nearly identical to a gown her sister-in-law wore earlier in the year. According to its online description, Meghan's jumpsuit featured a bold silhouette, as well as the brand's signature knot detailing across the back and a slight flare toward the hem of the pants. The Duchess of Sussex, in her third outfit of the day, accessorized with dainty gold earrings, a $350,000 trilogy engagement ring and wedding band, and Princess Diana's $23,000 Cartier tank watch. Harry, however, sported a more casual look in a black denim jeans, a navy blue shirt with the arms rolled up, and gray suede sneakers. He completed the look with two separate bracelets and a necklace which was mostly hidden by his shirt. The Duke's relaxed appearance was a stark contrast to what he wore in his keynote speech at the UN General Assembly hours earlier, in which he blasted a Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade as a global assault on democracy and freedom. Despite the event meant to be in celebration of Nelson Mandela Day, Prince launched an attack on American politics during his speech to delegates. He also spoke out about climate change and poverty during the 2-hour meeting. Number 9, pink skirt suits. The Duchess Meghan of Sussex wore a pink skirt suit when she joined husband Prince Harry and grandmother-in-law Queen Elizabeth II at a Buckingham Palace reception in June 2018. The occasion was a party for the Queen's Young Leaders Awards, a program that celebrates the achievements of what the palace calls young changemakers from across the Commonwealth. Harry and Meghan were there because the then new Duchess in Sussex would be taking a leading role in the Commonwealth, the organization of former British Empire nations that was dear to the Queen. For the palace reception, Meghan wore a pale pink Prada top and skirt set featuring a belted short sleeve jacket with a double-breasted button front and an A-line miniskirt, accessorized with black pumps and clutch. But Kate had first dressed in an L.K. Bennett light pink skirt suit during a royal visit to Adelaide, Australia in April 2014. Number 8, the white shirt and jeans combo. Kate dressed in a white blouse, bootcut jeans, brown suede cowboy boots, and a white cowboy hat at the Calgary Stampede Parade in Alberta, Canada in July 2012. Then later, Meghan had dressed in a white Oxford shirt, bootcut jeans, and black pointed toe boots at the Dove event in October 2015. A World Vision spokesperson told Us Weekly, World Vision's global ambassador Meghan Markle was in India on an experimental learning mission to highlight key issues facing girls and living in poverty. As a strong advocate for gender equality, Markle has worked closely with World Vision to create a trip specifically focusing on and bringing awareness to girls' lack of access to education. She engaged with local activists and educators to help ensure girls felt equipped and safe to attend school, and worked to improve access to girls' latrines, the lack of therefore being a significant problem for the 63 million teenage girls in India. World Vision, a relief, development, and advocacy organization, has been active in India since 1951. A source added, Meghan had been planning this for the past 8 months, compiling her own research and helping set the agenda for the trip. She didn't want to be given notes by someone else and just show up. These are important areas of interest for Meghan and cover issues she feels extremely passionate about. Number 7, military details. Kate had worn a double-breasted navy coat by Alexander McQueen at Armed Forces Day in June 2011, and then Meghan had chosen to dress in a navy military-inspired navy jacket and trousers while out in New York City in March 2016. It was thought at first that her coat was from Armani, however the buttons did not match any of the Armani coats. Her shoes were Aquazur, the purest 105 pumps in navy suede for $650, as well as a Cartier tank watch which was Princess Diana's in gold. Jennifer Meyer 18-karat gold bezel tennis bracelet for $3,000, and a Cartier love bracelet in gold. Number 6, blue dress. At an Instagram dinner in Toronto, Meghan posed with her longtime best friend and stylist Jessica Mulrooney. This look from 2016 is pre-royal duties, but Meghan was well on her way to becoming a fashion icon. The plunging neckline of her deep blue dress was balanced out nicely with its longer length. Simple straight hair and subtle makeup had Meghan looking effortlessly cool, which coincidentally looked just like a dress that Kate was in during her engagement photo call with Prince William in November 2010. So maybe she saw Kate wearing it and decided to match with her, as people say she had been planning to be a part of the royal family for years. Number 5. Plaid coat. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's visit to Scotland was notable for several reasons. First, it was a romantic pre-Valentine's Day work trip for the soon-to-be married couple. Second, a pony tried to bite Prince Harry. And lastly, Meghan dressed in a very Scottish-themed outfit for the occasion. The lip gloss queen was spotted at Edinburgh Castle wearing black trousers by US designer Veronica Beard and a chic black turtleneck bodysuit by Wolford. Of course, Markle's also wearing a Burberry tartan coat. The tartan print is a traditional Scottish design, and Burberry is an iconic UK brand, so her outfit was on theme. So ultimately, the Duchess of Sussex did appear to channel Kate's style once more when she wore the Burberry coat while visiting in February 2018, as Kate was seen rocking an Alexander McQueen coat dress with very like pattern years earlier. Number 4. Portrait necklines. Kate donned a black and teal off-the-shoulder gown by Jenny Packham at the St. Andrew's 600th anniversary dinner in New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art in December 2014. Meghan Markle then attended the Step It Up for Gender Equality event celebrating the 20th anniversary of the 4th World Conference on Women in Beijing at Hammerstein Ballroom on March 10, 2015 in New York, dressed in a black tea-length dress. Number 3. White coat. Markle, who at the time would become Her Royal Highness Princess Henry of Wales, not Princess Meghan, appeared at an official photo call for the happy occasion in November 2017, wearing a sleek white coat by Canadian label Line, paired over a green dress from Perroche. Markle finished the look with nude heels, a Duchess of Cambridge style signature from Aquazur for $465, and perfectly wavy hair. Her ring was reportedly designed by Prince Harry himself. The Kate Middleton wore a dress by Reese, also in a white tone, for the Mario Testino lensed photoshoot announcing her engagement to Prince William back in 2010. For the conference, she chose a dress by Issa in a blue that matched the sapphire in her engagement ring, which had been Diana's. Both dresses were so popular that they were re-released by the brands. Number 2. Grey plaid dress. Meghan Markle traveled to Cardiff, Wales in January 2018 for an official visit that included visiting the Welsh Culture Festival and a tour of Cardiff Castle. The former Suits star continued to prove she's a fashion star, braving the chilly winter temps in a chic all-black ensemble, before revealing a modern yet regal top that at the time had already sold out on the brand's website. Markle mingled with well-wishers in a stunning black Stella McCartney overcoat that she paired with pointy-toed Tabitha Simmons boots, a mini forest green de Meliere London Venice bag, and shooting star earrings. But of course, Kate had to do it first, rocking an LK Bennett coat in December 2017 that looks almost exactly the same. Number 1. Polka dot dress. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex had arrived in Fraser Island, Queensland to visit the world's largest sand island as the next stop of their first tour as a married couple. Mother-to-be Meghan, who missed an engagement a few days prior to rest following a late Saturday night at the Invictus Games opening ceremony, had been told by Harry to make sure she is getting enough rest during the 16-day tour. When they arrived in Queensland, Prince Harry took a boat to Fraser Island, while Meghan went on a whale-watching boat. The Duchess appeared to be in good spirits as she waved to well-wishers on the marina. Meghan was sporting a polka dot dress that ties at the waist, along with large black sunglasses and lace-up sandals. Meanwhile, Kate opted for a very similar long-sleeve polka dot dress of the same color by British retailer Whistles, when she attended a reception for Radio 1's Teen Heroes of 2018 at Kensington Palace just a few days before Meghan had worn it. Hey, this is The Rich Life. I'm your host Makailah, and today I'll be telling you the top 10 ways Meghan Markle spends her millions. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe cause it really helps us out, but now let's get started. Starting off this countdown at number 10, luxury cars and private jets. According to AutoBiz, Markle cruises around town in a $122,000 Range Rover Vogue, a $45,000 Lincoln MKC, a $500,000 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, an $80,000 Cadillac Escalade, a $30,000 Toyota Camry, and a $75,000 Lexus LS. She's also been spotted by British media in a Jaguar E-Type and multiple Audis, with Harry in the driver's seat. The couple also uses a $6.5 million Cessna 680 Citation Sovereign plane, private jet, an asset that sparks heavy criticism of the two climate change activists. It's fitted with stunning interiors, leather seats, executive desks, and spacious bathrooms. It's unknown, however, whether they bought the aircraft for themselves or if they just hire it on occasion. But regardless, that's still a lot of money. Meanwhile, some celebrities fly commercial because they care about the planet. Number 9, education. Meghan Markle attended Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles, which costs over $17,000 per year to attend. Markle had later graduated from the all-girls Catholic school in 1999. Now, this may seem crazy, but the royal family reportedly spends around the same amount on schooling, so maybe that's why she fits in so well, although nowadays she doesn't really. Prince George, the 9-year-old son of Prince William and Princess Catherine, started attending Thomas's Battersea School in London in September 2017. Tuition and fees totaled over $7,000 per term for students age 4 to 7, and there are 3 terms per calendar year. The price, however, decreases for each subsequent child enrolled concurrently per family, so Princess Charlotte and Princess Louis will cost not as much, but will probably still be quite a bit. George and his siblings then began attending Lambrook, an independent preparatory school, in September 2022, and tuition ranges from $5,000 to $9,000 per term depending on the student's year in school. Number 8. Holiday decor. Her husband Prince Harry isn't content to let staff do all the holiday decorating for his Nottingham cottage home. In December 2016, the royal was spotted buying an approximately $4,000 Nordmann fir Christmas tree from Pines and Needles in South London's Battersea Park with Meghan Markle. The Daily Mirror reported the prince paid for the tree with a credit card. Markle also reportedly happily accepted a bunch of mistletoe with her purchase, while the prince wasn't keen on it. Seemingly in the holiday spirit, staffers told the publication the happy, low-key couple was friendly and largely slipped under the radar. Number 7. Clothing. A royal fashion blog found that Markle came out on top with a mind-boggling $500,000 spent on her wardrobe just that year, 5 times more than Kate Middleton, according to textile market intelligence platform Yards and Fibers. However, the report did factor in a pricey jewelry piece, which has been speculated to be a gift from Prince Charles, but remains unconfirmed by the palace. Typically, gifts aren't included. The ranking was also only based on clothing pieces that could be identified, of course. Though Markle is known to flaunt H&M and J.Crew on occasion, she's also been spotted in a $3,500 Oscar de la Renta gown, a $4,700 Armani dress for her Oprah interview, an $18,000 Givenchy dress, and a $75,000 Ralph and Russo gown for her engagement pics with Prince Harry, per Insider. And if you thought that was expensive, there's also the $157,000 Stella McCartney silk crepe dress worn at a wedding reception, and $265,000 Givenchy wedding gown. Number 6. Staff. Up until March 31st, 2022, Queen Elizabeth's payroll expenses totaled nearly $24 million, on top of other staff costs of $3.8 million, according to the Sovereign Grant and Sovereign Grant Reserve Financial Summary. Doing one's own grocery shopping, cleaning, and laundry is decidedly unroyal, so Prince William and Kate have a little help. It's unknown who's currently assisting the family, but in May 2017, The Sun reported their housekeeper had recently quit her roughly $46,000 per year job because it was too demanding. And of course, Meghan doesn't need as much staff as the Queen did, so she probably doesn't spend that much, but it's estimated that she does spend around $1 million per year on staff costs. And as just one of Kate's staff members quit because she was too demanding, Meghan's staff also have a lot to say about her. Meghan has been called a narcissistic sociopath who played her former advisors. It was like working for a couple of teenagers, according to the reported words by their highly regarded private secretary who had been recommended by the Queen after years of loyal service. And Meghan's behavior had apparently been difficult and demanding from the start. Number 5. Jewelry and watches. At her wedding to Prince Harry, Markle wore a $155,000 Cartier bracelet from the Reflection line, and $68,000 earrings after the ceremony per Hello. Markle also sported Lorraine Schwartz earrings worth $40,000, and an eternity ring costing $62,000, according to The Richest. But her most expensive piece of bling has got to be her $350,000 engagement ring from Cleveland Company, though she's also worn priceless heirlooms once worn by Princess Diana, Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Mary. Markle's $5,800 Cartier Tank franchise seems to be her watch of choice, and she's been sporting it ever since she became a royal. She told Hello in 2015 that she, quote, totally splurged on the two-tone variation after starring in Suits. But what about her gold Cartier Tank? It's rumored that the striking heirloom once belonged to Princess Diana, per Vanity Fair, and may have been passed down to Markle after she met Prince Harry. Number 4. Renovations. $3 million was reportedly spent renovating the 10-bedroom manor home, Frogmore Cottage, which I mentioned earlier where they bought their crazy expensive Christmas tree, that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry share with their children. The couple moved to Frogmore Cottage in Windsor back in March 2019. The property, which was previously used as royal staff headquarters, required the renovation of, quote, 5 residential units in poor condition, according to the report. Number 3. Everyday life. Okay, so what about everyday necessities? According to news.com.au, the couple are estimated to spend up to $1.2 million a month beyond the designer clothes and bling. Other expenses include a $200,000 baby shower, which Serena Williams kindly paid for, $11,000 on acupuncture and numerology during her pregnancy, a $43,000 baby moon, possibly up to $59,000 a year on nannies, and of course holidays, as per Insider. Markle's favorite wine, Tignanello, costs $130 a bottle. And let's not forget about the couple's membership at Santa Barbara Polo and Racket Club, which costs nearly $10,000 a month per closer. Splurges aside, the couple does commit an admirable amount of time and money donated to noteworthy charities too. In addition, the Sussexes are estimated to spend $4.5 million annually to sustain their lavish lifestyle. They propose that their security would be costing the couple more than $4.5 million annually. This, along with other expenses such as their mortgage, is estimated to add up to over $6 million annually. Number 2, bags. She may keep Harry as permanent arm candy, but the Duchess of Sussex is also known to boast a serious collection of luxury handbags. She's donned a $4,900 Dior Lady D Light, a $985 Gucci Dionysus, mini Strathberries including the $770 Mindy Tote, a $920 Bottega Veneta wallet, a $780 Mulberry Darley, and Victoria Beckham powder box bag worth $620 per hello, and the list goes on and on. Now coming in at number 1, mansions. After the Lovebirds announced their exit from the royal life in 2020, they moved into a $14.7 million Montecito mansion in Santa Barbara, California, swapping British royals for neighbors like Tom Cruise and Ellen DeGeneres. The 18,000 square foot 9-bedroom property features a cinema, office, spa, arcade, library, wine cellar, and everything you can imagine for a Hollywood home, according to 8 Days. They lived there with their children Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana. Before the big move, they called Britain's Frogmore Cottage home. The historical countryside abode has been a royal residence since 1792, and the Duke and Duchess dropped around $3 million on taxpayers' money for renovations before they stepped down from the royal duties per hello. They're also rumored to own properties like Adelaide Cottage, York Cottage, and Luckington Court.
With the first 3 episodes of Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan out, we are starting to learn more about the royal family and, of course, Harry and Meghan. Today we are diving into the top 10 biggest reveals Meghan Markle exposed on their Netflix docuseries. Starting off the top 10, one of the most surprising reveals has to be their nicknames for each other. In the docuseries, the Duke and Duchess refer to each other as their first initials, H and M. I love it. It's short and sweet and to the point. Other names that were brought up were Has, which Meghan apparently picked up from the friend who introduced them. And we also learned that the Duchess's friends and family mostly call her Meg. So days before the royal wedding, when she was receiving texts from her hospitalized father, she realized the texts must have been written from someone else, because the texts refer to her as Meghan rather than Meg. So fun fact, Miss Markle's first name is actually Rachel, which funny enough was also her name on the hit TV series Suits. The docuseries doesn't address why she prefers her middle name. Meghan isn't the only one who goes by a name separate from her birth name. The prince's first name isn't Harry, and it's not his son's middle name Harrison either. It's Henry. And now I'm very interested as to why this couple decided to go by names different from their birth names. And I wonder if they're going to talk about it in the second part of the series. Henry and Rachel have a very different ring to it than Harry and Meghan, don't you think? Coming in number 9, another royal detail that's been exposed in the docuseries is their oldest child, Archie's accent. We don't see much of Archie and none of his younger sister Lilibet. As someone who's in the spotlight quite a bit, it's good to know they've managed to keep their children away from all the press and drama. The 3-year-old appears a few times in the first episode. He's seen riding around on a wheeled suitcase pushed by his sweatpants-wearing father, outside visiting chickens and donkeys, and wearing a birthday hat and sitting in a high chair that's covered with a scattering of confetti. He speaks only briefly, and although they moved to LA within the first year of having him, it seems that Archie does still have a British accent. It's cute to see that just because they've moved out of London, they still make sure their children stay in touch with the culture and even speak with the accent. In number 8, Meghan tried to find out more about Prince Harry on the gram. In this day and age, we try to learn more about someone by checking their socials. But when it comes to someone as international as Prince Harry, you'd expect girls to be Googling him to learn more about him, right? Meghan famously said that she didn't Google the prince before their first date. She admits to having done her research on him by lurking on his Instagram account to try to get to know who he is. Luckily for him, his feed at the time was filled with photos of animals in Africa and beautiful scenery. That was enough to convince her to give him a first date. Her reasoning for jumping to his own personal account instead of going to Google was because she wanted to know how he presents himself, rather than what other people have to say about him. Touche, Meg. The 7th reveal we got was how they first met and their official first date story. We find out that Harry and Meg met over Instagram when Harry stumbled upon a video of a mutual friend with Meghan using the dog filter. He ended up reaching out to the friend who let Meghan know the prince had an eye on her and was interested in getting to know her. So shout out to their friend who set them up. We would not be here talking about this royal series if it wasn't for them. The date was held at a members-only club in London, and Meghan was considering ditching him after the first date because he showed up 30 minutes late. Not a great look for Harry, but once he showed up and she saw how embarrassed and apologetic he was, she ended up giving him another chance. Imagine she didn't. Their next day was 2 days later at the same place, and ironically, this time she was 5 minutes late because she had been at Wimbledon that day and needed to shower before they met up. Still not as bad as being 30 minutes late, but it's clear that they really enjoyed each other's presence and didn't let that get in the way of getting to know each other. We also find out that Harry had an extensive list of what he was looking for in a partner, but wouldn't share it, saying that Meghan is the list. I must admit that is a really cute response, but I'm definitely still curious about this list. We've come so far from them meeting on the gram through a friend to spending the rest of their lives together. On to number 6, the royal family reveals ? So far, the couple isn't exactly dishing about other members of the family, which is probably wise if they want to keep up those relationships. But Harry did say there's pressure on the male royals to marry someone who will fit the mold of what a royal wife is expected to be, rather than choose the person they're destined to be with. Now, this may not come as a shock to many because of how important politics are within the royals, but I just can't imagine having to marry someone who's more fit for the family rather than a person you feel fits better into your own personal life. Harry really went against the grain and went searching for someone who he believed would fit into his life. Props to him for choosing different. He mentions that some of the family members didn't feel sympathy for Meghan being hunted by paparazzi because their wives also had to go through that. Though Harry says Meghan's situation was different because of racism towards her. Although a lot of people might not agree with his decision, at the end of the day, it's his life to live and he is allowed to live with the decisions he makes for himself, regardless of what others have to say. Coming in number 5, living with paparazzi. Strangers documenting your every move since birth can definitely get really exhausting, especially if there's bad press and stories coming out that are not completely accurate. This reveal may not come as much of a shocker because of the high status this family has kept for generations, but it is definitely interesting to watch Harry vocalize his dislike for this part of his life that has constantly been relevant in a lot of the things he chooses to do. Being born into the life is so frustrating for so many people. Being chased by strangers who want to document your every move for some extra cash is definitely not for the weak. We find out that royals are told not to react to the cameras, not to feed into the frenzy, and that deals are made. The royals will pose for certain photos in exchange for being left alone for some time. But he states the obvious, not all the photographers live up to that deal, with some continuing to chase the royals down after the agreed upon pictures. There's some footage where young Harry, brother William, and cousins Eugenie and Beatrice are trotted out onto the ski slopes to answer questions and pose endlessly for the same photo over and over. I personally would hate having to stop doing what I'm doing just to pose for a bunch of money-hungry photographers who are watching my every move. That sounds so annoying. Once Meghan comes on the scene, photographers pay her neighbors to put a camera on their house pointed into Meghan's yard. And when Meghan tries to be friendly to the photographers early on, Harry tells her she can't do that because it gives them ammunition to claim that she enjoys the constant attention. What an exhausting life. Being royal is much more than the royal wave and fancy palace. Who would have thought? Speaking of cameras, who would have thought it's not just an on-screen persona? Counting down to the 4th greatest reveal, we find out the royals behave just as formally on-screen as they do when there are no cameras on them. So now I'm wondering, are they out here greeting each other with the royal wave every time they see each other? Meghan recalls a time when Prince William and Duchess Kate had come over and Meghan greeted them with a hug. She was in her own house walking around barefoot with ripped jeans on. Isn't that insane? She didn't necessarily say it was an uncomfortable greeting, but it was definitely insinuated the way she explained the encounter. She learned that the royals don't let their hair down and relax once behind closed doors. I can't imagine being that formal all the time. It just seems like a lot of work, especially when I want to just goof off with my friends. If I was a royal, I know for a fact that would be one of the hardest things for me to adjust to. Just proper clothing on all day, every day, speaking to my family and friends like I'm doing a job interview could not be me. Meghan also revealed that she never wore color around the royals and opted for muted tones because she wanted to make sure she fit in, while also avoiding wearing the same colors that other members of the family would wear. I mean, regardless, she always looked great, but it's interesting to see that this is something she actively has to think about when getting dressed for family events. The infamous curtsy part of the English culture is an odd thing to think about for people unfamiliar with English traditions. Meghan, being born and raised in America, was the same way until she found out she was supposed to curtsy when she was going to meet the Queen, which she found out was going to happen on her way over there. Imagine you're in the car with your fiance and they casually drop the fact you're about to meet the Queen of England, who is also their grandmother. I need at least a week's notice in advance, so props to Meghan for her attempt to curtsy for the Queen. The first impression is the most important, so clearly Meghan had to have done something right, which got the approval of the Queen to marry Prince Harry. In one of the episodes, we see Meghan recalling the whole thing and doing a dramatic remake of her curtsy to the Queen, which she found quite amusing. Harry, on the other hand, was not laughing with her. On to the second biggest reveal, Meghan's family ties. During an interview with Meg's mother, Doria Ragland, we find out that Meghan's father, Thomas, and half-sister Samantha are not as close to them. Samantha is described as someone who barely knows Meg but claims she raised her. Samantha's daughter Ashley is interviewed and refers to Samantha as her biological mother and says she was raised by her grandparents. Meghan admits that they didn't invite Ashley to the wedding despite being close because it would look bad that they were inviting her but snubbing Ashley's mom. Yikes, talk about some family drama. The Duchess also revealed that it was a difficult decision for her to make because she is close to her niece, and she even made the effort to call her in advance to let her know why this decision had to be made. Rough. We get a point of view from her niece Ashley, who feels quite hurt about the whole thing as she recalls the moment. She says that she understood where it was coming from, but to know it was because of her mother that her relationship with her aunt was impacted is really hard to deal with. I'd be hurt too. Meghan also revealed that her father did not tell her he would not attend their ceremony, and found out from TMZ. That is the worst possible way to find out, and also probably the most humiliating. This family drama is just getting juicier and juicier, and I need to know what's going down in the second part of the series. On to the last, the biggest reveal in the docuseries has to be the royal proposal. The prince took Meghan to a garden near his cottage at Kensington Palace and got down on one knee on top of a blanket with a ton of candles surrounding him. If you want to see the moment, check the docuseries because they provided pictures of the cute and intimate proposal. The moment wasn't a complete surprise for Meghan because she was tipped off by the fact that he popped a bottle of champagne, which led her to call her friend to share the excitement. But it still is a wild thing to find out a whole prince wants to marry you. How adorable. Well, on that note, we have covered the top 10 biggest reveals that we've discovered in Netflix's Harry and Meghan. And if you haven't already started the series, what are you waiting for? Check in and comment your thoughts below on how you feel about the docuseries. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with everyone you know who's tuned in as well. I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.